Hello and welcome to another inventright.com TV show. Mr. Stephen Key, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, Andrew. How are
Good.
you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. My voice is a little raspy. Been talking a lot on the phone. There's some sort of allergy thing going. Besides that, I'm good.
Good.
Hey, we're going to be talking about contracts. Actually, that makes it sound really boring. What's the exciting version of that?
Making money, Andrew. Making a lot of money.
Closing the deal, closing that licensing deal on that product that you're working on.
I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, no matter how much work you do, right? We talk about sell sheets, calling companies, we talk about protection, but it all leads up to that moment when a company reaches back to you and says, hey, what do you want? How do you start that out? And how important is the contract? And how many different ways can you screw it up?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should talk about how do you screw up a contract? How do you screw the whole thing up? People can learn more about that. So let's start.
Well, it's not even screwing up the contract. How do you screw up getting to a contract? How do you screw up the deal? You got a deal on the table, but you're just not able to finish it out.
You and I have seen this before, that
Yeah.
people have come to us. They get so close, but at the very end, they screw up the negotiation.
Not even at the very end, at the beginning too.
Well, but we're talking about the end. We're talking about
the end of the day. Okay,
talk about
good.
the end.
Let's
Okay,
talk
so
about that part.
one way to screw up a contract is not knowing the language of a contract,
Right.
what you're negotiating.
Right.
That these are business terms, not so much legal terms, but big picture,
Right.
and being greedy. How's that?
Yeah. Well, so what you're saying is not knowing the major deal points, the things that you're negotiating, not knowing what to negotiate for, not knowing what all those terms are that need to be in the contract. So who do you call to get help with that? Do you call a patent attorney, Steve?
No.
Well, now why not? They helped me with the patent. I gave them a whole thousands of dollars for that. Why not give them some more money?
Yeah, that's a good question. Why not? Why not? Sure.
Why not help support their families?
I love this guy.
Patent attorneys' families need us inventors
Andrew,
that are willing to just throw money at them.
we're sounding like we're anti-patent attorneys.
We aren't.
I love them. I love them, but you have to kind of manage them just like you manage anybody in your business. But here's the deal.
You have to use them at the right point in time.
Yeah, but you don't even use them. You use a licensing attorney.
Right.
Because this is a licensing contract.
Right.
So number one, a lot of patent attorneys want to do everything for you. That's not good.
You don't want, I mean, what do they do all day long? They do patents. You want somebody that does nothing but licensing contracts all day long. But as we always talk about, if every time you get a little initial interest in an idea, you call up the licensing attorney, that's going to get really expensive, $200-300 an hour. And to be honest, in our opinion, a lot of times they try to get too much and they will kill the deal.
They're deal killers.
Okay. They can be. They
are.
They are. Okay. And they're arguing all this little minutia and all that. In the meantime, they're charging you $200-300 an hour.
Okay.
So what's the solution?
Okay. So what do you do? Okay. This is what you do. You have to realize you always start with the term sheet, big picture term sheet before you go to a contract.
Right.
All right.
The major deal points.
You have to.
Right.
And what's really interesting, when you start this off, you tell them, you're interested, I'm interested. How do we go to the next steps? We should go to a term sheet.
Right.
Now, they could either put it together, but most likely you're going to put it together. And it's only going to have the big, let's say 3 big things, maybe 4 big things.
Right.
Number one, do you want an exclusive? That's a big thing. Non-exclusive, exclusive, trust me, they're going to want an exclusive, but you want to see it in writing.
Yeah.
Number 2, the royalty rate. Someone has to throw that first punch and establish what the royalty rate is. So you've got to do the numbers, you've got to do the math and come up with the royalty rate that may be a little high, but you can come back, give a little. You're going to channels the distribution. Where are they going to sell it at? Are you going to give them rights to sell it anywhere and everywhere? Maybe not, right? What else might be on there is I wouldn't do the little details like performance clauses. That's a whole nother conversation, how to protect yourself. Minimum guarantees that if they screw up, you get it back. I wouldn't mention that yet, too. It's too early.
Right.
You want to do the big picture, how do we work together? And then once you agree to those big pictures, maybe length of time is in there, territory.
Right.
Okay, big pictures, right? And everybody says yes, then you go to a contract.
Right.
Now, what I just mentioned, those are business terms.
You don't need an attorney to do that. And
Right.
Yeah.
So now you're going to need a licensing attorney later, but not at the very beginning. I can tell everybody, if you've never done this before, you will lose.
Yeah. Well, that's
How's
scary.
that? How's that?
That's scary.
Yeah. If you do it by yourself, and if you've never done it before, you'll end up losing.
Well,
Now, what does that losing mean? What does losing mean, though?
Well, the deal falls apart.
Or maybe it's not a good deal.
Or yeah, maybe the terms aren't right. Maybe you didn't understand the terms.
Maybe improvement clauses, they make a change in it, they file patents, and they cut you out.
Right.
Minimum guarantees, maybe you don't put a performance clause in there, and next thing you know, they sell a certain amount, or maybe they even shelve it because you're cannibalizing another part of their product.
Yeah, but if you set up the contract right, you can always take it back. You're renting them the idea. If they don't perform, you get it back.
All right. The point is, guys, that everybody's listening, the point is you're going to need to have someone that has looked at contracts, negotiated contracts, knows the things that are good and bad from a business standpoint of how to watch your rear end. Because I'll tell you, if you don't, it's like anything you do in life. The person with the most information is going to what?
Win.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, that's what we do for our students, Steve. We get people to where they're 95% done with the deal. And then we say, have the company write the contract, saves you some money. They write it, not you.
Sure.
And then you send it to your licensing attorney. They dot the I's and cross the T's. And that's what licensing attorneys are very good at. So we're not beating up licensing attorneys. Steve and I know every clause in contracts. We know all the major deal points. We know the minor stuff too. But licensing attorneys are good at going over that minutia. And that's important. So let's not understate their importance.
No,
but if every time you get interest, you're calling them up and it's $2-3 an hour, that's not going to work very well for you. And it's not a smart move, and it doesn't help you close the deal.
Well, better yet, Andrew, you're going to have to learn this sooner or later.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people, I don't want to learn how
you have to
negotiate.
This is your money.
Yeah.
This is your income. No one's going to manage it better than you.
And it's not that hard. It's not. I mean, it's the same stuff over and over again, isn't it?
Andrew, we've seen so many.
Yeah.
Seen some terrible ones. But I can say this: they all are terrible at the first time you see one.
But if you hadn't been through licensing deals before, you wouldn't know that.
Yeah.
I had a student earlier this week, and I'm like, "This is a terrible contract." She started to get all concerned. I said, "That's not a problem. We'll just get it fixed up." And she's like, "Oh, okay, but does that mean they're a bad company?" I'm like, "No, it just means maybe their attorneys are a little overzealous. It doesn't mean they're a bad company."
It's a boilerplate agreement.
Yeah, and their boilerplate agreement wasn't that good, but that's okay. You just change it.
Well, it's not that it's not that good.
That's why they call it a negotiation.
That's so amazing because some of these that you see, you read them and you go, well, gee, maybe we talked about something else, but this isn't in my favor.
Right.
Trust me, it will never be in your favor, but you're going to get it to where it more equals out. That's what's going to happen. So you start here, they're here, you start here, and then you start picking at it, and eventually you get it to where it works.
I had a student earlier this week. She says, "How come it doesn't talk about them paying for my patents in the contract?" I said, "It never says that in the contract.
Ever.
That's something you need to talk to them about." She's like, "Oh, okay." Oh.
No, most people don't know the main issues here. It's a performance clause, and it's the way you approach it too, Andrew. You know this.
The way you bring it up.
You have to.
It's got to be good timing.
You have to do it at certain times.
Yeah.
You don't try to do everything at once. You keep on adding a little bit. You beat them up. You beat them up. You beat them up to the point where you get something that you want. But you better understand improvement clauses. Who's going to own improvements? Because guaranteed, guys, there's going to be improvements. How do you keep those guys, paying you correctly, audit clauses? There's going to be insurance information in case what happens if someone gets sued. Right. There's going to be, and this stuff sounds scary, everybody, but it's not. Let me tell you, it's a blast. Andrew likes it. I
Very
like
fun
it.
time. But people
Well,
get nervous and they get anxious because it takes 1 to 3 months of going back and forth, email and phone, and you just got to accept that.
I
That's
like it though, Andrew, because our students are pulling their hair out. They're nervous.
Yeah.
They're not
You
sleeping
like
well.
that? Why do you like
Well,
that?
I know it. I know, but I tell
You
them.
like it because it's a good experience to have.
Well, I tell them, take a deep breath. You're in good hands. We're gonna take care of this step by step. You're not going to miss an opportunity. We've got more experience than they do. I guarantee it. We have more experience than they do. So just take it easy. Let's take this slow. It's a dance.
And I'll leave you with one last tip, everyone. Then we're going to call it a show here. You can't ask them to lead you through their process.
Yeah.
You know, they're not going to go, well, here's our formal process. We do this and this and this and this, and you're like, okay, and if you just answer their questions, and the deal will fizzle out. You need to pull them through your process. If you don't have a process and you haven't done deals before, you don't know what that is. You don't know how to gather the information in order to get the deal done. And a lot of it is gathering information. It won't get done if you just sit around answering their questions.
No, and I'll tell you one other thing. You're right, Andrew. It's called managing the process.
Yeah. Well, but a lot of people, Steve, they figure this is a big company. They're going to tell me how I'm supposed to do this deal with them, but that's so not true.
No, and you don't want to lose momentum.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Steve, great, fantastic info. Thank you for joining us for another inventright.com TV show. Make sure to click on the thumbs up button down below and subscribe to the channel if you like, and we'll catch up with you on another inventright.com TV show. See ya.